welcome to Asian Pulse Television. I'm your host, Joshi Reddy. Thank you for tuning in to your informative and educational network. We are broadcasting from the unceded territory of Semiahmoo, Katzie, Kwatlam, and Musqueam nations. We are grateful for the first people of this land. May is Hearing Awareness Month, making it an excellent time to prioritize your hearing health. It's recommended that individuals over the age of 60 have their hearing checked regularly. By 2050, an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide will require some form of hearing device. The Alzheimer's Walk will be happening in cities across Canada, with the BC Walk scheduled for May the 26th. For details on participating and locations, please contact the Alzheimer's Society of BC. It's time for a short break. I'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
Thank you, sponsors. If you would like to be our sponsor and provide sponsorships to any segment of this show, get in touch with Camilla by calling 604-537-5123. In our studio today, we're joined by Dr. Balbir Gurm, a nursing facility consultant specializing in cultural safety. She's also the founder of the Network of Ending Relationship Violence and an educator at Kwantlen Polytechnic University with over 2 decades of experience. Stay tuned as she shares insights on the South Asian Museum. Please have a look.
Hello and welcome to Asian Pulse. I hope you all are doing great at home, and my guest today is Dr. Balbir Gurm, and she is with KPU and founder of NEVER. And she can explain what NEVER means. It's a network to eliminate violence in relationship. Now I got that. So she's my guest, and we're not going to be talking about NEVER so much, but there is another project that she is doing, and it's very, very important for all the people that consider as South Asians, which we all are South Asians. And it's very important to do the project or participate in the project. So welcome, Balbir.
Thank you, Kamala ji.
आप कैसे हैं?
ठीक है.
That's good. आपका हिंदी भी बहुत अच्छा है. You speak Hindi well?
Hindi बोलियो या.
Yeah. Okay.
I took it in university, but
yeah,
haven't spoken it, so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I think a lot of people that are watching me today, and they understand English. A little bit Hindi and all English. So we're going to be talking in English. So talk a little bit about, because you are one woman that I have been following it for last 20 years or 25 years. You are quite stressed out and involved in so many different South Asian initiatives. Mm-hmm. And you've been such a one busy woman, but also I see that you see the end of the tunnel. You produce the projects that you take on and do a good job at it too. So it just look like you live, breathe, and all that doing community service.
Thank you. I do spend a lot of time doing community service, but a lot of it is driven by trying to create an equitable and just society. So we've suffered racism. I mean, I suffered racism as a young child. In schooling, I was never told about the history of our people in Canada. It was always about Western civilization and what Britain had done and what Western Europe had done and how they had discovered North America and the contributions they had made. And it always made me feel less than. Mm-hmm. And so as I got older, went through university, etc., and lived life, I thought, this is totally wrong. And so ever since, I've been trying to create a more equitable and just society. And the project we're doing now is just a part of the larger umbrella of anti-racism work. So the Premier promised us a museum in the last election, if you will recall.
Yes, I recall.
He said there will be a museum for the South Asian community. And so after that, we had a big engagement at the WASC Center at SFU last summer. And then following that, they created an advisory committee. And I happen to be honored and privileged, I guess, to serve on that advisory committee. And then in January, they appointed me as one of the co-chairs, along with Am Joel. And so now where the project's gotten to, yes, it was announced it's going to happen, but as you know, government works very slowly, sometimes too slow in my opinion, but here we are, we're doing the engagement now. So what the engagement is to give advice to the government of what all British Columbians would like to see from a South Asian Museum Cultural Centre. I know I keep calling it South Asian Museum, but it doesn't have a name yet. And one of the questions we're asking all of BC is what should be the name? And what should the space be? What should it look like? Who should it serve? Is it for tourism, or is it just for BC, or is it for both? Those types of things. And also when you walk into the space, what kind of feeling do you want to create for people? And is there a knowledge piece? Do you want them to learn something? You know, so I could give you all my personal opinions on all those things, but my big thing is that it shouldn't just be what I want or the advisory committee wants. It should be what all of BC wants, and specifically South Asian people should be able to say what it is that they want to share. What do they want the rest of the world to know about them? And so that's the project right now. And there's 3 ways we can engage at this point. One is that we could do the survey, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. We can apply for a grant if we are a business of any kind, it doesn't matter what, but you want to engage with the community and do maybe focus groups or discussions of some sort, then you can apply for up to $5,000 to get that grant and then give the feedback back to the government. If you find that the survey or the discussions that are happening around the province aren't meeting your need and you want to say different things, there's an opportunity to directly just input your information either via video or via text onto the government website. So back to the survey now. The survey, I'm hoping that we can get at least 100,000 people doing it in BC, and just to give a good understanding of what people think. And some of the questions, like I said, are where do you want the museum? What should the name of the museum be? What should be considered when selecting a site for the museum? Like, those are 3 or 4 of the questions that are on the survey.
So how can one be able to fill out that survey or questionnaire?
Yeah, so you just go to the engage.gov.bc.ca website, and there you've got the survey, and it takes less than 5 minutes to do, literally. Like, somebody could do it on their coffee break or walking down the street. It's that simple.
So it's not very complicated.
No, it's just asking basic things that you want, right?
Yeah.
Like, as somebody from the South Asian subcontinent, what do I want people to know about us? What do I want people to feel like? You know, to me, it's really important that people feel welcomed in that space, like everybody. So that's one of the things I write on the survey when I did it. So everybody has to decide for themselves. Like, if I tell everybody what I think, I don't want them to just mimic what I think, but they should think for themselves and say what they want to do. Yeah.
I'm thinking, while you're talking about it, could be because everybody has a cell phone these days, iPhone and all that, they could be crossing the street and fill out the forms. But those people that may not have access to technology, computer.
Yeah. I would urge all of them to go to their public library where all the computers are.
Okay.
Okay, and everybody that works in the library, they're all versed in computers and they're happy to help individuals use computers.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have libraries in every neighborhood, and in Surrey, in fact, we have a mobile library now. As you know, another one of my hats is chairing the Surrey Library Board. So within that, there is a mobile library, so it looks like a little minibus, and it goes to spaces where we don't have a library because Surrey is so big. But it does have a computer station.
So is there a deadline for this?
No, it's going to be running all summer.
Okay.
And we're going to keep pushing it to be open until we get enough people responding. Because like I said, if it's a part of anti-racism, we want to make sure that everybody has a voice. And also, to me, it's really important when we're tackling anti-racism that we talk about all the similarities between people. Because current anti-racism policy or multiculturalism policy that's existed in Canada, we've been trying since the 70s. And it really hasn't worked. If you look around, we still suffer racism. I suffered it as a child growing up here in Vancouver, and now I still see it in all our institutions, whether we're talking universities, we're talking governments, organizations, like public institutions that we see are still racist. So I'm saying let's take a different approach to anti-racism and talk about what do we all have in common, right? We all have similar values. You know, honesty, integrity, family, you know, wanting the best for our children. There's a lot of commonalities. And I'm not saying ignore what's unique about us, because that's important too. But let's not focus on that. We share that as well, but we focus on how are we all similar. So when we're focusing on what is similar, it allows people to feel like it's a part of them. Whereas if people are different, then it just highlights the differences and people think, not like me. And the way our brain works is when we have input from various things, our brain goes into like me, not like me, good, bad. It does an automatic category, even though we'll get thousands of inputs into our brain at any one time. And so what I'm saying is let's take advantage of the neurology we know and focus on what is similar first so that we get to see each other as human beings and not just people that are different and unique. Uniqueness, like I said, is important, and we should have, of course, artifacts or stories of differences as well. But the key is going to be in terms of what is similar about all of us.
I was also going to ask you, when you say South Asian, sorry,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of cough. So when you say South Asian, who
are we talking
Who
about?
are we talking about?
We're talking about people who have roots to the Indian subcontinent,
Okay.
right? From Maldives to Afghanistan to, Bangladesh, that whole area. And it doesn't mean you came directly from there, right? So it could be you were a part of many generations ago indentured labor that went from India to Fiji or to Kenya or the Caribbean. We still consider those people with their roots back into the Indian subcontinent. And so they're all included.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some people will say, oh, I don't identify as South Asian. I'm from Trinidad. I'm rather called Guyanese or something else. So I think it's very good to clear that out. If your roots started in India, you are under the umbrella of being South Asian.
Yes, and it doesn't matter how many generations ago. I mean, there's people in my family who went to England first, right? So they would consider themselves British.
Yeah.
But their still historical roots are back on the Indian subcontinent.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of response are you getting so far?
It's starting out slow. I think people are, even though we've done lots of events, we did the both 3 Visakis, Victoria, Vancouver, and Surrey, and we handed out QR codes to do the survey, etc. We're planning on going to hockey games and the 5X festival, had TV interviews, radio interviews, but it's been very slow getting started. And so that's why I wanted to, take you up on having a conversation about this so that more and more people will know, because I would really like to see a really, really large response rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is early stages. This is the first step right now.
Yes, this is the very first step. So after we get the engagement process completed, and the best timelines would be that it would be done by September, but we don't know because it's a process. And once that's done, then there'll be a feasibility study to try to figure out, the name, where it is, et cetera, even though it'll be based on the report of input from people in BC. But there still has to be a feasibility study, and then government will have to look at how much funding they have, how much are they going to be providing, and that's where I think the community will come in again. If we find that it's low, we're going to have to speak up and say this is what we need.
Right.
Right, so it's just the beginning steps. I expect on a really good timeline, we may see this space in about 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, things move very slow, especially with huge projects like this that cost in the millions, if not billions. Like, it could be huge, depending on the input we're giving to government, the will of government, the priorities of government. There's so many things to consider.
And then project, like you say, might go. And so is the cost goes up as well.
Exactly. I mean, every year we don't do it, the cost goes up. We know what's happening in the construction right now. Right? Like, houses that used to be worth even 3-4 years ago about $1 million are now $3 million.
Yes.
Right? So the cost keeps going up.
Yeah. So those people that are watching, and I can't say enough, you have said enough, that it's so, so important. It's so simple to say where you want it, how you want that thing to be looking like. And because when you say South Asian, there is no name yet. There would be a name at some point in time.
Yes.
But there is no name yet. This is what we are calling. This is a survey. So people of the South Asian origin should be filling. Who can fill the forms?
Everybody in BC can fill the forms because it's a provincial government funded project.
If you are no part of South Asian, you don't have no South Asian in you, then?
You can still fill in the form.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not just for us to understand ourselves, which is extremely important for health and self-concept, but it's to help everybody in the community understand our contributions and why they shouldn't be racist against us, right? Because it's under the larger umbrella of anti-racism.
Yeah.
So what do people who are not of that heritage want to know about us, right? How do we want them to feel when they come into this space?
Right.
Right? So those are the kind of things we're looking at. So everybody in BC, and also it may be a tourist destination.
Yep.
Right? A lot of museums around the world, tourism is huge for them. And wouldn't it be great if we had such an amazing project that everybody in the world wanted to come and see it?
Of course, yeah. And they're going to be one of its kind.
Yes.
South Asian Museum or whatever the name you want to call it, that will come later.
Yes.
But it's our heritage to show off the world.
Yes.
And our youth and children. And after this, how many generations of South Asian, they will be so proud that their grandparents or their parents or somebody did something, left some kind of legacy for them, the grandkids, and the generation after that.
Yeah, that's right. And in modern museums, we have all that history from where we started, what we contributed, etc. But we can also have art space where young artists, whether it's painting, drawing, music, can have a space where they can play, and show off their talents. It could just be community gathering.
Yes.
And because we're talking South Asian subcontinent, which is big, the Indian subcontinent, then maybe there's a space where everybody circulates through. So maybe, 1 month we have it people from India, another month people from Fiji, or another month, so it
A
could,
display of something,
there could be a
Or-
permanent display, and then there could be a rotating one,
Yeah.
so that everybody feels included and covered.
Yeah.
It could be a space where all our youth learn the languages,
Yeah.
right? Multiple languages. A space where they come together just to get to know other youth, because sometimes I hear from young adults that how do we meet someone?
Yeah.
And so it could be a space for that. Like, I can think of lots
Million
of
things why this will be so useful.
yeah, extremely important for the
Yeah.
community.
So those people that you are watching you, what would you like to say to them? How long will it take, and why is so important? The importance is the main thing,
Yes.
because we want to get as many your vision of what that museum should look like and where should it be, so that we can put it, you can put it together and send it to the government. Then that's where the museum gonna be. More centralized, more public transportation. What are some of the things you want to see in the museum? And the location. Right now we're talking about location right now.
Right. So for everybody listening, it's really important for you to have a voice. A lot of times we complain governments don't listen to us, we don't get an opportunity. But now we've got an opportunity to say what it is we want. What do we want to showcase about our community? What do we want for our future kids? What is the legacy we want? And what should be included? Where should it be? It's your opportunity to help us be anti-racist and be accepted into the society of BC that we live in. So that's what I would say, is encourage everybody to do the very quick, less than 5-minute survey.
Is there a number, toll-free number or any number if people are confused, not being able to log on, maybe problems?
There is, it's on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a number that people can call as well.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much for coming in and trying to explain. Because we complain a lot after some things happens, because you say, why it didn't happen this way, why? But when there was a time for you to voice that, I think we all stayed silent. So this is an opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Camila, for having me. It is so important to get the message out to our community.
Yeah.
Thank you, Balbir Gurm. Please take a moment to voice your thoughts and opinions about what you would like to see at the museum. Please have your pen and paper ready to jot down some of these announcements. Experience Salim Salaman live in Vancouver at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre, situated at 600 Hamilton Street on June the 30th. Doors open at 6 p.m. For tickets and further information, please reach out to Kamal Sharma at 604-833-1977. The annual Independence Day Brunch and Dance, hosted by the Guyanese Canadian Cultural Association of BC, is scheduled for May the 26th from 12 noon until 3 p.m. at the South Arm Community Centre, 8880 Williams Road in Richmond, BC. For tickets and further information, kindly contact Sylvia at 778-882-1852 or Sabrina at 604-760-2085 or Diana John at 778-862-7009. The World Partnership Walk returns to Lumberman's Arch in Stanley Park on Sunday, June the 2nd. Step forward with passionate Canadians dedicated to fighting global poverty. Registration begins at 9 a.m. Bring your family and friends to join the walk and help raise funds to eliminate global poverty. Coming Together for Mental Health is happening on May the 21st at Aria Banquet Hall in Surrey from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. For tickets and further details, please contact Kieran Tour at 778-320-6540. If you're organizing any events in your community and would like us to help you promote them, please send us an email at asianpulse@gmail.com. We'd be happy to assist. As we've reached the end of our time together, I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I have bringing it to you. If you ever miss our broadcasts, remember, you can always tune in on Shaw Cable, Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m., Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Our shows are also available in Calgary on Channel 10 on the Shaw Cable Network and uploaded to our YouTube channel under the Camilla Singh Shows. Thank you for watching. Before we say goodbye, I want to share these words with you. You have not lived a perfect day, even though you have earned your money, unless you have done something for someone else who needed your support. Ruth Smeltzer. I'm your host, Joshie Reddy. With the heat outside, remember to stay hydrated and keep an eye out for the elderly and the babies. Drinking plenty of water is the best way to stay cool. Wishing you all a wonderful day, and we're excited to have you join us again next week on the same channel at the same time. Bye for now.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो, लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं, यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
Na 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 na.